The story is brainstormed, or we kind of pitch and throw around story ideas. Then we come up with a general, usually we come up with an A story, a mission story, and a relationship or narration story. Then we break the story, which is like a general forming or shaping of it, with like kind of the big movements.
From there, we write an outline, which is usually me doing that. One of the things, when Adam and I have worked together on these episodes, we found that we have really complementary skill sets, as it were. And so I'm generally the one that's writing the outline, and the outline is literally a prose description of each scene and where it happens and what the major story elements are in each scene. Then we go to first draft, which tends to be, but not always, Adam, who's extraordinarily good at writing dialogue and at finding the heart and soul of a scene, pulling it out of an outline. And so we do a second draft and a polish. We'll cut things, we'll change things, sometimes we'll move scenes around to kind of make the story flow more smoothly.
We have to finalize casting new roles at that time. We will have been working up to that based on draft 1 and draft 2. So we finalize the casting. The associate producer does a schedule for studio, nails down the actors, does all the contracts.
And so we receive the scripts on Friday and have them for the weekend to read ourselves. Generally, we get here at about 9:30, and we do a read of the script around the table with all the characters present, with James, the director, present, and the writers.
And it's interesting because we don't know who's going to be playing what part necessarily when we arrive. Sometimes we see people we haven't seen for a while or meet new people.
Before we do the read, usually there's a gazillion changes because the military consultants will have looked at the script and decided what is TV speak and what's actually accurate. So we try to stay as accurate as possible, or Greg and Adam do, with the scripts when it comes to military speak.
Things like if we get some of the radio dialogue wrong, the way that they would speak over the radio, or some of the military information about the kind of weapon you would use or how people would react in certain situations.
And so we make all those changes, and then we move to a read.
And that's really the one and only time that we really get to hear the material tested out before it goes into the studio, and oftentimes we'll make little cuts while we listen. And if Adam and I are working together on a script, we'll then meet and go through the script and say, you know, I thought this line we didn't need, and we can cut that, and there's maybe something extra needed here. We'll do that really quickly, and then those changes will get worked in on the fly while we're recording it. And oftentimes, the actors, the lead actors who know their characters incredibly well, know the world really well, will come up to us and suggest changes and little word things, and that's incredibly useful.
And then we plow through and tape it a scene at a time. Sometimes we break scenes down and do segments separately because they may overlap, or we do what we call wild tracks.
Which means like crowd sounds or responses to explosions, or
Generally starting with wild tracks, which are, would you like me to describe those to you?
Yes.
Wild tracks are all the stuff that happens in the background. So for instance, if there's a crowd of sleeping men in the big ass tent, then they would have all the guys in the tent, or they would just take whoever's here. Generally not me, because my voice stands out as a woman's voice, and throw them in the big studio and have everyone do a sleeping sound.
And then we work through the scenes, generally doing the scenes with more people in them to start, and then work towards just the scenes with the fewer people, usually done later in the day.
Okay, now I want to try you. This is for 275A, when she kicks the ball. So she kicks the ball and hits somebody right in the butt. Okay, so I want her to laugh. So when she does it, she thinks it's a big joke, okay? Okay. So can you imagine kicking the ball and then laughing, okay? Look into, okay, into the mic. Hands out of your mouth. Okay. So, okay, I'll do, so it's kick, smack.
And then what happens is the next stage is that I take the performances that the actors have given, and I cut out the mistakes, cut out the takes that maybe weren't quite to what the directors desire, and I put them together, and that's the first point at which the story gets told in a linear fashion. The next thing that happens is it gets sent off to sound effects, where Anton Zabo, who is generally our sound effects person, sometimes Wayne Richards, will put sound effects in against the dialogue. So if there are gunshots that the actors react to, they'll put in the gunshots at the points at which the actors react. The final stage is that we come back to this studio to do the mix. And what we do then is we balance the levels so that the sounds are all in the proper perspective. We do the panning so the stereo image is correct, and then we play it out to a CD, and that's what you hear on the air.
Foley's very important in radio, and I'm gonna show you some of the Foley art we have set up in this room called the Dead Room. Got doors, hinges. Oh, that's not a hinge. That's a lock, a bolt. What else do we got? That's about it, eh? What else can we do?
I think that's
What's
fire
this
in there,
for, though? Is it?
I don't know.